Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I have 5:30 p.m. I am officially calling this meeting to order as of 5:30 p.m. Thank you, council, for being here, city staff and residents. Appreciate it. As you see in the back of the room, we also have a very special guest back there, which will be introduced to you later. If you would, please do roll call.
Mayor Rodham,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Perry,
Here.
Councilmember Caffey,
Here.
Councilmember Willie,
Here.
Councilmember Oliveris, Councilmember Starnes,
Present.
Councilmember Milton.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this glorious day. We thank you for all the blessings that you have showered on us today. We ask, Lord, that you be with the city of Rockdale and its residents and that you guard them and keep them safe. Lord, we ask that you be with us in this meeting, that you guide our thoughts and our words and our decisions, that you might find them all pleasing to you. Lord, we ask all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Announcements.
So just one quick announcement, and this is not city-related. I'm wearing my other hat here. I am on the planning committee for upcoming Mayfest that St. Joseph's Church here in town is putting on. It's been a few years, but it is being held Sunday, May 3rd at the Knights of Columbus Hall. And they'll have chicken dinners and music and games and lots of good, fun activities. And they're also selling raffle tickets. So if anybody wants a raffle ticket, come up and see me after the meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And I was out of town at the previous council meeting. The pet of the month is here. Would you like to go ahead and share information? And if you've not been to one of our meetings or seen our meetings online, we started this last month recognizing a pet of the month, which is one of our shelter pets that is available for adoption. So if you're looking for a new loving animal, dog, to adopt into your household, we have several of them that we would love for you to consider.
Yes, well, this is Onyx, and the last pet of the month I'd like to report was adopted.
Yes.
So this one, his name is Onyx. He's as smart as he is beautiful, and he is a little nervous because the last place he went that was new, he got neutered. So, but he is playful and energetic, and he makes friends with every dog he meets, and he's just a wonderful dog. And if you want to meet him and come say hi, you come to the Rockdale shelter.
How old is he?
He is a little under a year, and he's been at the shelter since he was 5 months old. So he's been there way too long.
And would you provide us for the crowd to know the address of our animal shelter?
290 Beverly.
Yep. So if you just go right out here, and it's out by the old softball fields.
Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Citizens Communications, do we have anyone signed up?
You look good in your hat. Look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Too many kids, grandkids. So I'll start with the items not on the agenda. And we have Mr. John, is it pronounced Puckles? I apologize for butchering that. I will remind anyone that is speaking that council cannot have direct dialogue with you. The permissible responses the council may only respond to public comments by giving a small statement of fact or policy, or by proposing something be placed on the regular agenda. If you'd like to step up to the microphone, sir, please do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Puckles. I'm at 410 Perry over in the Cornerstone. This is the second time we've been up here. I know there's a couple other families here that are in the same development as myself. We've been trying to get some information and get some clarity on what's going on here with this PID tax. It's hitting everybody real hard. I don't know if any of y'all's been through the subdivision lately and noticed the for sale signs that are in the development, but there's quite a few. Okay, we're trying to get the point across. I myself, I've answered probably close to a dozen people that's driven through the neighborhood asking why there's so many for sale signs. Well, I gotta tell them. Our mortgage payments have more than doubled. And I didn't find that out until after living in that home for over a year, that this dropped on us. Oh, by the way, there's a PID tax. Had I known this, I would have never bought the home. And I think I could speak for everybody else that bought a home in that development. They're going to tell you the same thing. I would have never bought a house and where my payment is almost $3,000 a month. I can't afford it. And I'm pretty sure everybody else feels the same way in there. Something that the city and the developer came to agreement on, and now they're passing it on to us. And then up as to 2 weeks ago, the city came out and finally put up a sign that's the size of a garage sale sign, 6 foot off the ground at the entryway to say, oh, by the way, we have a public improvement district. But nothing else says anything else about it. It's just a sign that sits way up in the air that nobody's going to see, nobody's going to look twice at, but they're going to come in there and people are going to look at houses and nobody knows anything about what's going on until they come down the street and they ask questions as to why. And then when I answer and they stop and ask, if somebody's outside in their yard doing work or whatever, and they stop and ask why this is, and I answer their questions, I tell them, well, if you buy a home here, guess what? Your payment's going to more than double. And then they're like, what? Okay, we can't get a question, but yet we're stuck. People are going to be facing foreclosure and everything. That only comes down on the city and the developer and D.R. Horton. And yet we can't get a simple answer from anybody about it. And when we ask somebody about it, they're like, oh, well, these are first-time buyers. D.R. Horton has several class action lawsuits against them right now. Nevada, Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina, and Texas. From everything from bait and switch practices and on. Targeted prospective home buyers by promising low affordable monthly payments. However, the company lowballed the true monthly cost because it excluded the majority of required property taxes. The lawsuit alleges that D.R. Horton and DHI Mortgage were running a monthly payment suppression scheme to mislead first-time homebuyers into thinking their total monthly housing costs would fit their budgets. They preyed on people's faith in the American dream of home ownership to lure them into affordable, deceptive deals. Many first-time homebuyers didn't learn their payments would be hundreds of dollars higher each month until after they had closed on their homes and DHI Mortgage had sold the loans to new mortgage servicers.
Mr. Puckles, out of respect, your time is up. I'll give you one more minute to wrap up, sir.
I contacted my mortgage company. They had no idea about it. My mortgage was sold, or my escrow, the tax and everything, the PID tax was escrowed into my mortgage company. I had no idea about it or anything. Everybody else was the same thing. They rolled that over into our escrow and never even told us anything about it until after the fact. And the mortgage company never knew anything about the PID tax. They did this without even knowing. And half these people probably would have never got cleared for a mortgage of over $300,000.
I would ask you to do one thing, please, sir. Consider if you reach out to our city manager tomorrow.
I've reached out to him twice already.
Have you spoken with him?
He's spoken to me more than twice.
Okay.
Reach out to him tomorrow. There's been some things that have transpired.
Something needs to get done by the end of the month because we've already contacted an attorney about it, and we're going through with D.R. Horton, DHI Mortgage, the city of Rockdale, and everything with the lawsuit.
Reach
and
out to him
everybody's getting
tomorrow,
named in
He'll be able to give a lot more clarity after tonight's meeting, sir.
Because everybody who's comparable into with the development company and everything is getting named in the lawsuit. We're done playing games.
Thank you, Mr. Puckles. That was the only person signed up on the, not on the agenda. have several people signed up for items on the agenda. Did anyone sign up by mistake for an item on the agenda and wanted to speak now, or wait till we got to that item on the agenda? Okay. Presentations. We'll receive a presentation from the Rockdale Depot Museum.
Good evening, everybody, Mayor, council members, and City Manager. I'm here representing the Rockdale Depot Museum pursuant to our contract with the city. We're doing our annual report in pursuit of our hot funds. Can we, I have a presentation. Hold, please. All right. There we go. So my report out today, again, is based on, ooh, I've got the power now. I don't know, will this work for that? I don't think so. All right, I have a friend. Thank you in advance, Shanna.
That's fine, you just holler at me.
Okay, you can go to the next page. So just as a reminder who we are, the Rockdale Historical Society is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was founded specifically to preserve and run the Depot Museum. And we did our primary renovations completed in 2008. So as you can imagine, old people and old buildings require continuous attention to be the assets that they are intended to be. Thank you. There we go. And next one, please. All right, so what we do, we serve as the city's visitor center. We're open every Saturday and Sunday. We have free admission due to the generous support of our city administering the hot funds and some contribution from Milam County proper. We host events, and fall through spring, we have extra special blacksmith demonstrations. We collaborate with the City of Rockdale and local organizations for large-scale downtown events, such as the December Winter Wonderland, July 4th, Sesquicentennial, such things. And we also partner with other nonprofits, like the Genealogical Society, the Chamber, and Community Market, and Milam County Museums to share the history and culture of Rockdale and bring it to life for residents and visitors. Thanks. All right. So this is a little bit of an eye chart, but we're super proud for everything. In 2025, we grew our impact as a visitor center. We increased our visitors year on year by 10%. This was on top of a 100% increase the year before that. So we're really, we made our big splash, and now we're continuing to build on that. 28% of our visitors showed up from greater than 50 miles away. And we're also very proud of that.
How many? 28?
28%.
50 miles or further.
From 50 miles away or further. We distributed, we served additional people after the Christmas parade, but you know, the Santa line was crazy, so we didn't ask anybody to sign in. We were just sharing the joy. We do distribute the FYI, the historic walking tour brochures, and all of the tourist destination information that has been provided to us. So it's not just about giving people a tour of the train depot. We truly are acting as a visitor center, both in our online presence and in person. We continue to promote Rockdale tourism. Last year, we went to the inaugural Cameron Train Show, and that is a bunch of very dedicated enthusiasts, and we had a very wonderful experience, and we did get some walk-in traffic. Because of that, they came to Rockdale Special. And we also went, for the first time in a number of years, to the Temple Train Show. That was a 2-day event where it was hundreds more people that we interacted with through our booth. And again, we saw direct foot traffic based on those interactions. And we also had a feature article in Voyage Austin, which is an online magazine out of Austin promoting local tourism. So that was very exciting to be invited to do that. So we partnered with Old Town Cameron and Hearn Depot for the Train Day triple header, where we try to get tourists to go to all 3 depots in one day, or at least we expanded it to one weekend because we're open on Sundays. So that gives us an edge. And got in our rail enthusiasts. We enhanced downtown through refreshing our caboose and diner car. With just to note, our fabulous, fabulous Rotary guys helping us with the prep work on the caboose. We had a grant to put the decals back on it, and we actually put decals on the diner car for the first time since we've been restoring. And that was very exciting. We had some in-kind donations supporting the painting and the rest of the build out of that as well. We created a marketing video with the support of the MDD grant, and we premiered it this year, so that'll be on the next page. And we grew our volunteer base. We are seeing year on year more than 500 volunteer hours. But this year, what we saw is that it was expanded to a larger number of people and more focused on interpretive improvements, maintenance, further restoration, and not having to do anything to speak of towards operations and keeping it open as the visitor centers. So, again, we're really focused on asset improvements and program development last year and powerfully focusing into this year. Okay, next. All right, so some more good news for us. Although we do have a slight negative on our P&L for last year, we incurred expense of last year that will be reimbursed through the 2 of the grants that we received. And so that's going to be in the back. And we also saw an increase in in-kind and direct donation support, close to $10,000, which is another big improvement for us and is allowing us to stay the course. In 2025, we did spend $9,000 on labor, and we are budgeting an expanded amount for that this year because this is going to be our investment in bringing in further revenue streams, such as paying field trips and other programs. So also in this year, we will be pursuing further grants for accessibility improvements and additional preservation goals. So we do, any homeowner knows that we have things like painting and, repairs and making sure that roofs and gutters are in working order. So that's another big push for us this year. Okay. All right, 2026. We're off to a great start. So we now have a live rail cam that broadcasts from the depot. That's huge for the enthusiast crowd. We have an informational video and a YouTube channel that is published on that we premiered in February. And we performed a STEM workshop at the library, also in February for Engineers Day. It wasn't just trained engineers, it's technical engineers. And going forward, we'll be partnering with Taco Fest, and we'll have the train day triple header again. And this next bullet item is really exciting. We were invited to be a regional partner for the Spark exhibit in Taylor. This is a traveling exhibit sponsored by the Smithsonian Institute, and it's meant to highlight innovations in rural areas. So Taylor will be getting their exhibit in the second half of August and September, and it was their desire to partner with other historically oriented tourist destinations in a short radius from Taylor to encourage people to come to our sites as well. We have 5 days of train shows scheduled for this year. So coming up in Cameron, going to Temple, and we're going to Austin also in August. So busy year getting the word out about Rockdale and all the fun things to do here. And we will continue to conduct field trips, special events, and we'd like to add additional education programs. We have somebody who is certified as an Operation Lifesaver program deliverer, and we would like to include that in our field trips as well as offer that to other local organizations and schools, because especially before we go into school breaks and everything, we just want everybody to be really safe around the railroad tracks because we see too much of it from where we sit. And we will continue to operate as a visitor center for the remainder of the year. And we always extend our hours in support of downtown activities to make sure that we can provide the public restroom and all that kind of stuff. So we do want to improve our site access and exhibits, whether it's through loaners or partnering with other nonprofits to give them a place to show off their hard work as well. Okay. All right, so this is our future, and we thank you guys very much for being part of it. Everyone knows that we wouldn't have a Depot Museum without the support of all kind of different city councils and individuals in industry locally, and we want to be there for as long as possible. So we'll continue to reach out and be very, very thankful for any support that we get outside of our programs. All right? Questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
And this may be outside of what you guys do, but how do they determine, like, the national path of that steam engine that comes through?
Oh,
And how do you get, I've been to
That's a
several
hot
places to
ticket.
see it, and I'm not even a trained person, but I went to see it.
oh, so you're talking about Big Boy 4014?
44, yeah.
Union Pacific steam engine. I'm sure it's a very fraught process. They seems like they're staying where north. They're doing a western part of the tour through April, and they're staying way far north. It's like,
Yeah, 'cause I know
you
it
know.
came through Hearn and College Station, last year.
It did. It's amazing. They haven't published the center of the world yet for this year. I don't think it would come. We had a steam engine. If you've come and hang out in the train room for a little bit, we have pictures of when we did have a whistle stop here in town, and that was arranged by one of
Okay.
our founders, Bert. But I don't expect to see him through here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Great presentation.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, great
Kathleen.
presentation. Thanks for the work your volunteer group does.
Mayor, I have a question as well. If someone wanted to make a donation and they were going to do that by check, is that made out to Rockdale IGN?
It would be made out to Rockdale Historical Society, and our P.O. box is the place to do that. We also do have an online platform way to do that. But that's definitely the P.O. box, and it's Rockdale Historical Society.
I had one comment. I remember one time I looked up that you have membership levels if someone wanted to donate. And for our household, you know, there's so many, there's the band boosters and the Tiger Club and so many things in town. The base level, and I know anybody could write a check for whatever amount they want, but the base level that you recognize felt a little steep to me for a lot of people. And so that's just a comment that you could share with your board or others.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
We have kind of dialed back the depth and breadth of our membership levels to simplify it. But what I will say is if a person wanted to make a donation towards a specific project, no matter what the amount, we would be very grateful. So like if you had a passion around accessibility improvements and we were raising matching funds for, say, like additional ramps into the building, feel free to do that. Because everybody knows, you know, like what they can afford, and it's more flexible to support the exact projects that you feel passionate about.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great
you.
question.
Now we will receive a presentation from the Rockdale Chamber of Commerce.
Mr. Mayor, they actually asked to be, have that tabled and bring up next month. They have an announcement they want to make. They weren't prepared to make that. They want to do it at the same time as they make their presentation.
Fair enough, thank you. We'll move on to number 3 on the presentation list. We'll receive a presentation from the Rockdale Community Market for the Taco Festival, which is May 2nd of 2026.
Hey.
Why didn't you bring tacos?
Oh, May 2nd. Yeah, we're saving it all up for May 2nd.
Saving it all up. We just wanted to come tonight and tell you guys that we are so excited. We're moving forward. We won't come every month and tell you, but we wanted to tell you now that we've gotten so far ahead. Daniel Willie has been a godsend to us and has helped us tremendously. And we have 2 sponsors at $1,000 right now. One is covering the taco contest, and the other one is just a sponsor to it. unbelievable amount of support from the community in, like, our throwing people in jail. I'm looking at Mr. Willie over there. He's going to be one of our jail candidates. So we have several. We're still on the lookout for one. We don't. Oh, there's the other one right there.
there we
There's
go.
Joyce. She's also a candidate. Yeah, she's going to be arrested. We're still on the lookout for one. We don't know yet, but we'll let you know when we do. We just want to let you know that you should have your budget by tomorrow morning. It should have been sent by 5 o'clock tonight. We've met with Tim a couple of times. We finally got on board with what he was asking the whole time. So we finally got it straight, and we're moving forward. I want Teresa to share with you a little bit about our advertising and where we're doing that at.
So our advertising, I've reached out to, I started mainly Austin. And so I got a very good response from the Austin Statesman. They have a package deal. They're giving us a discount being a 501c3. 501c3. So we are actually going to purchase spots on the front page of the Austin Statesman. It's also going to go to Pflugerville, Georgetown, Round Rock. We're also buying into one of their digital campaigns for us. And then there's some other benefit in that package too. He's also going to do a press release for us for free, and that we can send out, and he's going to send it to his contacts in Dallas and Houston and San Antonio for us. And so he's a nice young man. He's very excited when I was explaining to him about Taco Fest, and so hopefully we'll see him there. We've also, of course, got KRXT.
Yep.
And then we are going to purchase spots in a movie theater that shows ads. We'll run the ads before the movies, and it'll run, all day long. And so we're purchasing a package for 4 weeks to do that. And I think we're going to do that in April so that it'll be closer to the time of Taco Fest. So we're getting more posters, and we're still taking them out to individual businesses, and Georgia and I are going in and working our magic here. And so we're going to head out towards Hutto and Taylor and start posting more out there, getting more visibility, and more visibility here along Cameron too. Because as I drive down the street, I'm looking in the windows going, oh, we need a poster there, poster there, poster here. And then down towards College Station, we're going to head down there with posters also. I post on Facebook. I blast on Facebook probably 8 or 9 times a day about the Taco Fest. I'm up to about 15 or 20 groups that we post to. I post to event pages, Central Texas Fairs and Events. I also go on to the websites where it's festivals and events. So we have learned a lot where to go, and not only do I post for Taco Fest, I also post for the market too. So we're still looking for other Facebook groups. We're constantly going in and seeing, we're analyzing who is looking at it. And right now we have a pretty young group. It's about in between the age 30 and 40. And we are getting a lot of non-followers. So we're getting new people looking at our pages, and every day we have people following us now.
Yep.
It will definitely benefit not only, Rockdale, but this is all going to benefit the market too, which this past Saturday, we had a great day. So.
Please don't forget that you're supposed to join me tomorrow morning at 10:30 on
Oh,
KRXT.
I am going to be there, yes.
We'll be there tomorrow
Yes.
morning on KRXT.
I will be there.
And George is going to talk to KRXT and find out a little bit more.
Yeah, about what they're
about
gonna-
their wishes about coming to the Taco Fest, because they want to broadcast from the Taco Fest at the same time.
But does
So-
anybody have questions for us?
How do you gauge what to expect? Because it's one thing, people don't show up, that's a problem. If too many people show up and you're not prepared for it, it's a problem. How do you gauge what's potentially gonna happen?
So we're going to go on a wing and a prayer and go on the higher side of that. And we're going to plan as if, because even if that as if doesn't happen, it's gonna show the lesser crowd, we do it regardless. This is who we are. You missed out this year, sorry guys, next year come, but this is who we are, and we're just gonna get bigger from there. Daniel has given us lots and lots of,
Guidance
yeah,
and
a
information.
little
And
stern.
we're not done picking his brain either.
Yeah, no.
So as
not
soon
at
as
all.
he's a
So
little
that's-
less busy.
That's how we're gauging, by
Yes.
our own markets, by the Christmas, market the chamber has, by the Christmas market we have,
His experience,
his experience.
and, yeah,
I think the biggest thing that we talked about was don't sink yourself into something you can't use again.
Correct.
yes,
Make sure that we're not doing
Yes.
anything, even the koozies and
Yeah.
posters, not
Correct.
dating them so we could
Correct.
use them again.
Yes.
yes.
Making sure that you have some ideas and tie a number to it. That was the biggest thing we talked about, was tying that number to how many people will come for this, how many people will come for that, where are you gonna sit?
Yeah, my concern is parking.
Well,
Where are
we're,
people gonna park?
we're asking
park?
Eastvale to help us out with that and allow customers to park in that grassy area. And then actually, we were gonna be getting hold of you and asking if the vendors for that day could park in your bus spot.
there, so.
If that would be okay with you.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is we have so many different activities going on that day, like a lot. And one of them is the Chihuahua races. And we are charging $10 for that race. And at first, we were gonna give half to the Rockdale Paw Crew, but have since decided, don't be mad at us, has since decided to give
All
that
$10
whole
too.
donation to the Paw Crew. And we sell stuff for them now at the markets. We made them $50 on Saturday, so it's a great partnership, but we're gonna give it all to them for that day.
I'll make it sound like
Thank
I'm
you.
not a giving person.
No, you
No,
are,
you
but
are.
when we asked you about $25, you were like, $25 is too cheap for anything. We're like, okay.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Excited for the presentation.
All right,
you.
thank you.
Trudging forward.
Are there any other taco festivals around?
So there's one coming up somewhere far away.
Yes.
Same day actually, but it's far away.
Same day.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it just
the-
came out though.
I think the uniqueness is intriguing to people, and being prepared for the first time is important, because you don't get them a second time
Exactly.
if it's a flop
Exactly.
the first time.
Absolutely.
And the other thing we're targeting with our advertising is that the kid-friendly.
Oh, yeah, and
the
everything is
free
free.
activities for the kids.
Very
So,
nice.
you know, bring the
Thank you.
kids on over, so.
All right, thank you.
Yep, y'all take care. All right, council, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Before I entertain action on the consent agenda, I'll ask, is there any items on the consent agenda that council wishes to have removed and put into the regular agenda?
Mayor, I would go ahead and ask for the item number, I'm sorry. Item number 5, consideration to take any action on, no, I'm sorry.
That needs to be out, doesn't it?
The rates,
Yes.
that's item 5.
Item 9, we'll discuss that separately.
Yeah, I think that requires a motion, so I'll entertain a motion.
Actually, it does not need a motion to pull it out of consent.
Okay,
So we're pulling item number 5 out of consent and putting it in the regular meeting?
9,
so that will now become
Item 9.
item 9.
I'm sorry, Mayor,
9?
it's not.
Nine's not in the consent agenda. 5 is in the consent agenda, and that's for the rates, and that should be pulled out.
That's correct.
So it goes to like 8 or 8A or?
So I'm gonna make a decision here.
It is on
I'm gonna
I'm
pull
sorry,
it
it's on
out
6.
at the request.
6.
Yes, I'm gonna pull it out at the request. Item 5 from the consent agenda. And I'm gonna place it as the first item of discussion on the regular agenda.
It's actually item number 6. Item 5 is the Milam County election management of the upcoming elections.
Not on my agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong, I'm looking at the minutes from last meeting.
I've got it under control.
Thank you.
Number 5 is coming out.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Everybody clear?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda with pulling item number 5 out and putting it in the regular agenda. Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? If no discussion or vote, all in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Moving on to the regular agenda. which will be, first item on the regular agenda now, is consider and take any necessary action on the second reading of an ordinance amending the master fee schedule regarding water and sewer rates. Tim?
Thank you. So this is an item that was discussed at length last time. Chris was here from New Gen Strategies. They had prepared the rate study for the utility rates, and they were recommending increases that are included in the ordinance for this. This is not something that is taken lightly at all, and it's not the first time that they have done a rate study. There was one done back in a few years ago, and it's my understanding that at that time, council did not accept their recommendations. They do an increase, but it was not what they recommended, and I think that is part of the reason that we are in the situation that we're in right now. But it's also combined with the fact that over the last probably 3 or 4 years, we've been doing a significant amount of investment in our infrastructure for water and sewer, over and above our normal daily operational costs of operating the water and sewer utility. And that has depleted our reserve fund as a result of this. And so right now, as you recall, our utility fund is we're pulling, after the budget amendment that was approved a couple months ago, we're pulling $400,000 to support the water and sewer fund from the water and sewer debt fund reserve because it was carrying more money than it needed. But you can only do that one time. We did take out the transfer from enterprise fund reserves, but in order to maintain the level of funding that we are with the improvements that we're making, this becomes necessary. And then on top of that, I mentioned at the last meeting, we had gotten a letter from the Texas Water Development Board that said that we were out of compliance in regard to our rate structure, that our rates were not high enough to support the Texas Water Development Board level of funding that they have provided for the big projects. So with those things in mind, that is why we're recommending this increase.
I have a question that you answered at the very end. I thought that there was somewhere last time that we're out of compliance. We have to charge a certain amount.
Yes, sir.
It's above
And what is that minimal amount?
what we're at.
So according to the letter from the Texas Water Development Board, Covenants, Section 2.03, reduction in tax levy requires the city to set water and sewer rates and charges that after deducting maintenance operations, the additional depreciation, interest income, and interest sinking taxes will yield a pledge that is equal to 1.1 times the debt service. Currently, that pledge is underfunded by $349,000. So this rate increase gets us to that point and actually exceeds it a little bit, but mostly because of the fact that we're playing catch-up. Our reserves are below our 105-day minimum that the council set as a policy.
I called a meeting with Tim last week to discuss this very specific topic because, I mean, I openly expressed my concern about raising the rates. My concern was mostly because of our citizens who are on a fixed income. I'm concerned about them being able to absorb additional costs. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, I think we discussed that the approximate increase in the bill would be $12. Is that correct?
I will get it exactly for you. Hold on.
I think that's the number, which is, if you're on a fixed income, I mean, you can say $12 and it doesn't sound like a lot of money, right? But it is, especially if you're on a fixed income. So I still have concerns about that. But I wasn't aware until my meeting with Tim that regarding the compliance issue with the Texas Water Development Board. So I still have my concerns about the rate increase, how it may affect our senior citizens and our other citizens that are on a fixed income.
Has anything changed from the first reading to the second reading at all?
No, sir.
has, upon voting on this, pass or fail, the lady that came from, not Manor Oaks,
Across from Butcher's.
Macaulay Oaks,
Hollyoaks.
she has a unique situation where she's reimbursed a year later from the state on a somewhat fixed income based off of what the state gave her the year before. My request would be that if somebody comes to the city and is expressing hardship because of this, that it not just be that it brought to council's attention. Because that is a situation where it's not, it is a fixed income people, but it's multiple fixed incomes that are affecting her one water bill. She's a unique situation, and I would like to be made aware of anybody that comes forward, that's willing to come forward. And I think if you're willing to, you need to be willing to come forward to the city council meeting. They need to be directed back to the city council meeting, not just come and lay their hardship at y'all's door, but if they truly have a hardship, that they be offered an opportunity to come to the city council and let us hear that so that we can help figure out how to deal with that, because it's real. And I don't want to open Pandora's box for you guys, so they have to come here and plead their case. But I think I would like for them to be recommended to do that.
Well, and depending upon the situation, I would get with Barbara to find out what authority I have, and I would exercise that to the greatest degree that I can. If I can't, and it needs to come back to council for action, then I definitely would encourage them to bring it to council.
Council, Mayor Pro Tem Perry, this is the second reading. You could place that language in your vote if you so chose. Sir.
I would like to speak. At the first reading, I voted against this, and I have not heard anything that would change my mind to not vote against it. 12 cents or whatever, $12. Yeah, in and of itself, it's maybe not as meaningful, but you couple that in 1 week where gas prices have gone up 35 to 45 cents a gallon, where utility bills of all sorts have gone up, inflation has gone up, and so it's a cumulative effect that when I talk to people at the senior center, or I talk to people who have contacted me, reached out to me, I want to know, are there no other places in the budget where we could trim some and help set this off, or is that not allowed?
So we're just talking about enterprise fund part of the budget. And so this year, in regard to the situation that we're in, we did come in and we trimmed about $350,000 from the budget to get it to balance, with that $400,000 transfer from the debt service reserve. I don't see any way that we can come up with $700,000 worth of cuts again next year. And then in addition to those cuts that we made were things that really we're going to need to do. And later on in the agenda, we actually have Mr. Brunson is applying for another Post-Oak Savannah grant, which we've been very successful the last several years. He has been successful in getting probably $1 million worth of grant funds from that fund. However, this year, he's only asking for $200,000 this year, but it's going to require a $100,000 match. So we would have to do a budget amendment to cover that additional $100,000. And if we can't do that, then we're going to have to forego the grant itself.
So my words were never cut $700,000, but, could we cut $200,000? Could we find something that would take a little bit of the blow off?
When I met with Tim last week, I gave him that same challenge to look for ways to where we could be better at managing our budgets, be more efficient at managing our budgets. We discussed some ideas. I won't go into those. We did discuss some ideas. I share that same concern, Councilmember Melton. as you just voiced.
I will echo what both of you are saying. I did vote for this rate increase, and it's been heavy on my mind since that last council meeting. I've looked into several different ways, and I think we can get much more creative and be a little bit more aggressive with pursuing grants. I think that we can look at our budget, be a little more strategic. But guys, this puts us at the very top of every bad list and the very bottom of every good list.
Correct.
And it's nobody, no individual sitting in this room, it's not their fault. But this is where we're at today, with the exception of Pflugerville. And I think that we need to get more creative in finding ways to keep this water bill down. I mean,
One of the other issues in regard to that, I mean, I think that there were two cities that were higher. I think Hutto and Taylor were two cities that had higher rates. They're both growing communities like we are. And, you know, that's part of the situation that we faced, unfortunately.
I've got a question, and I don't know if Barbara needs to answer this, or, because I don't know if I'm showing our cards or not. Let's say that we don't do the raise, or we do a percentage of it, or what have you, and we're still out of compliance. They slap us on the hand the first year? Do we get a grace period like the first year that they say, okay, guys, you know, we sent you, you're out of compliance. If you do it again next year, we're gonna fine you, and we can slide through this year, maybe try to figure it out, you know, push it to another year to help out.
Didn't we set our own, don't we set that
Well,
reserve?
that's only, like I say, and I didn't mean to, you know, if we can, next year's budget, this is really gonna affect next year's budget, as well as, we had, in adopting this year's budget, we budgeted revenues estimating a slight increase. I don't think we're anticipating this great of an increase, but, like I say, we are not gonna be able to do the things, and right now, with the budget amendment that we adopted, I think we're adding $100,000 to the reserve fund, which still leaves us woefully behind our reserve requirement. But if we do the budget amendment for the grant, that's gonna take us back to zero, and, you know, zero increase to our reserve balance, which is not gonna be able to be used next year to fund the budget. And it also potentially puts us further behind if we don't raise the revenue this year. We'll be dipping into that reserve this year as we budgeted.
I'm not proposing to kick the can down the road by all means, but I don't think we've as management have done our due diligence on what I asked to be done. I don't think that's been done, and I want that done. And I hope an option, let me finish.
Okay.
I hope an option tonight potentially is that we could table this and see if we can find other creative ways. If that's an option, Barbara, is that a legal option?
It is.
Since it's a second reading? Thank you. Consider even tabling this till the next council meeting where we could look for more potential creative ways. Now, I'll give you your opportunity to speak because I felt like I stepped on your toes and I don't want to do that.
No, I appreciate that. And we have looked at ways for cutting the budget. It's just not realistic in my mind to be able to make up the difference. It really is not. I mean, and you have to believe that we actually have, like I say, this year, we've delayed expenditures for the last 5 months. I just only recently released some of the expenditures that I put on hold, in the new hirings and things like that. But I just don't know where else from the enterprise fund that we can come up with the money. But I will definitely look at it and try to come up with some kind of cuts. But I don't know how that translates into a reduction in the amount of an increase. And it actually, by putting it off another month,
I have one more ask.
it actually makes the demand even greater, because then we have fewer months to raise that revenue to cover the budget.
So pushing it out, I understand what you're saying. Are we confident that the amount we're asking for, or either the amount we're being told we should ask for, are we confident that that's the minimum amount that we can get by on? Or have we dug into that a little deeper and said, no, it's actually $6 more a month? I'm speaking hypothetically, obviously. have we dug into that recommended rate increase deep enough to clearly understand, is that the amount, or is there potentially a lesser amount that we could get by on?
They have proposed a rate increase for the residential side that is just a single rate increase. It doesn't include any kind of rate increase next year or the year after. There is a series of rate increases proposed for commercial, one this year and one next year. There is the potential that we could adopt a rate increase this year that's less than what they're recommending, and then come back next year and do another rate increase. But the cumulative effect of that increase will be greater than if we just do it one time.
My concern is, and I brought this up last time, I think we've put this off, put it off, because nobody wants to feel the pain of it, and we're trying to absorb it all right now.
Fair.
I'm kind of like with the mayor and the other council members. There's got to be some way we could figure out, if it's $12, can we work our way up to that $12? Because again, we were, whoever was here, myself, whoever, we kind of took that we're not going to raise it this time. We're not going to raise it this time. And now we're here where we have to, and it's much more painful. I mean, I know we got to do something, but I think having to absorb it all at one time is tough.
I truly,
No, you go.
I truly do not like to appear obstinate, but I've been a part of, in this case, universities where we had to make cuts. And sometimes those were painful cuts, even personnel cuts. And I'm not in any way suggesting that. But I feel like I'm in this position where we hire people to do their jobs and no one needs to be micromanaged. But I want to accept Tim's assessment that there's no fat at all in the budget. But I would like to see maybe a layer of transparency, at least with the council, to maybe have it better explained. And maybe it's already out there and I just don't know where to find it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd be glad to be educated better on this, but I just think every budget has a little bit of fat.
Tim, and to be clear, the reason that we're at this rate is because the infrastructure, we're replacing infrastructure and everything, correct?
Yes, and the fact that we are investing heavily in infrastructure to make up for a decade or two where we didn't invest in infrastructure.
The reason I bring that up is to piggyback on what Scott said, and I know it's our problem. Is people have to understand, we're not out here trying to raise rates because we're trying to make a ton of money on this. Anybody didn't see Gerald's presentation a year or two ago about the infrastructure? It failed 20 or 30 years ago. So I'll say it, they dropped the ball years ago, and we're trying to get it back to normal now, and it's hard, it is. And it should have been done a long time ago, and here we are trying to fix it now, and it's not easy.
Well, I would stand by what I said earlier. If we delay, it is gonna be worse than what we're proposing today.
But I think we also have to relate to the public, or at least explain to the public why we have to do this, and again, not by giving a 3% increase here and a 3% there. I know in my world, we have a price increase every year, just because I'm gonna cover something every year. It may not come up this year, but people are gonna be a lot less resistant against that 3% price increase than they are when I have to have a 9 or 10% in 3 years. Mm-hmm. So we gotta explain that campaign we have to have as well.
That discussion was had 6 years ago when I got on this council, and nothing was done about it.
Yeah.
And now we're 6 years behind,
Right.
further behind than we were.
I agree.
I don't like it. I agree with everything that everybody's saying. Just like fixed incomes, gas is going up, fixed incomes, everything's going up. It's also going up for the city as well.
Yeah.
Everything that they feel, we feel as well. So it's not getting any better for us either. So I stand to have a significant, I don't like it, but every water meter that I have around here is gonna take a big hit on the commercial side. And it is what it is. I don't like it, but at some point, it has to be done. And I don't care if we get there in a year or two, but whatever we decide, this cannot be kicked down the road any longer. Something has to be put in place. It has to be put in place quickly, or we're gonna be talking about this again 2 more years from now. And so,
Totally agree with Mayor Pro Tem Perry that we can't just not do something.
The rates that, when the auditor looked at our reserve balance, they were saying that we had about a $500,000 reserve balance in water and sewer. We have a $3 million budget, or I'm sorry, it was about 800,000. We originally were drawing $650,000 from our reserve because we thought we had $3.5 million. With $850,000, when we adopted the budget this year, we anticipated some kind of increase, which hasn't, here we're 6 months into the budget, we haven't had any increase. So I don't know where we will end up. Our revenues will probably already end up down below our budget estimates, which means that reserve balance is gonna drop even more. And we don't have the cushion that we need. We don't have the cushion that we need, and that's why it is as urgent as it is. And I'm sorry that it took 3 months to have that rate study when y'all approved it, completed, and then, it takes a little while to get things adopted. But it really, if we could kick the can down the road, and I mentioned this to the mayor, the last thing I want a headline to read is that the Rockdale Enterprise Fund Water and Sewer Department is bankrupt. And I am not necessarily exaggerating when I say that. I do have a grave concern about that enterprise fund and where our rates currently stand. It is serious.
I'll make a motion that we table this until next month's meeting, with the understanding that you're gonna come back with a proposal to us to look at what it would look like to do the residential side in a 2-year step, and leave the commercial side the way it is.
Okay.
A motion on the floor, is there a second?
A second.
A motion and a second on the floor, is there any discussion?
I would just like to thank all of you and our city manager for this discussion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Opposed? You're in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for that clarification. Moving on to regular agenda item 8. Consider and take any necessary action on the variance request submitted by the city of Rockdale on behalf of Delbert Mitchell to allow for a 5-foot setback at each side of the property line at 420 East 3rd Avenue, Rockdale, Texas. Oh, Ben?
Hey, Mayor and Council. So this is a property that is getting submitted to the State for the Home Program. For those who do not know, the Home Program is run through the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, TDHCA for short. What they do is they'll build you a home for free if you meet the income qualifications here in the city limits. We've done a lot of houses this way. I think we're into the teens now since I've been here, and it's really a transformative program. The reason I'm here tonight is this is an applicant that will qualify if they can get this variance. So what has happened is, if you're aware of the east side of town, it's very old. There was a plat done that did not set the property corners and created about 50-foot lots in this area. And so what you'll see on the screen here is actually the survey we got back. So if you can see that, the current house on the property isn't on the lot lines, is not within the lot lines anyways. That will be torn down, and the new home will actually fit into this lot. But the problem that we're having is it won't meet your setbacks that you have adopted. So what we're asking for tonight is, you currently require a 9-foot side setback on each side of the house. That's a little bit outdated. The new standard is about 5 foot on each side because the fire code requires 10 foot of separation of structures. What we're asking for is 5 foot. That will let the house fit in almost exactly right at 5 foot on each side, and then they could get a house built for free if the state approves their house, which we believe they will.
Is there adjacent houses on each side of this right now?
There is one adjacent house, and I want to talk about one of the concerns. I'm glad you brought this up. All the family owns the lots around here, so if you're aware, sometimes the property lines seem to shift over there. This was a new surveyor. We asked them to work with the local surveyor, which I believe they did on this project. But if it came back in a couple years that this house is a little bit off, they're more than willing to work with their family members to rectify whatever we may come across, because we get a little worried about going in this area since we don't know exactly where the property lines are.
So my question stems is, if we make a variance and we put him 5 foot off the property line, is there already something that is existing that's
Not within
now
that.
we only have 8 feet, 7 feet?
Not with that in that range, no. You'd have to be significantly off,
Okay.
which won't happen.
You're right. To build anything next to, I mean, I'm assuming there's another lot next to him that could be built.
So, right, there's 2 lots. So there's 3 lots in this picture. This one's zoomed in. They're all owned by the same family. And so if you're off a little bit, the family's more than willing to make that work. There is an old structure towards the west that's substandard that needs to come down anyways, but it's not within
Will there
that
be,
range.
will there be new pins set according to this so that
There will be.
if and when somebody tries to build next door, we know where our 5 foot originated from?
Yes, there will be pins set. The issue that this area has is when you use a different surveyor, they end up with different answers. So if they use a different surveyor, I allude to there might be something that might happen. And so that,
How can we note that on this plat? That new pins were set based off of this survey? So that when something else happens, at least, there's something that notes, this is how we got to where we are?
yeah, so when you do a survey, you have to put in, if you set any pins, you have to notate that. Because what a surveyor will do, there's usually 2 colored dots, usually one that's not filled in that says that there was a pin set already, and they'll tell you who set it. If there's a colored in dot, then that means they set that pin. So you'll have 4 pins set no matter what every time you get a survey. And if you ever get your survey back, that's what they're telling you, if they set those pins or if they found them.
This is lot 5.
Yes.
Ben, I don't know the cost of a survey in your case. Is it ever okay or appropriate to get 2 different survey companies to survey the same property to see if they align?
We could. The issue that we run into, so what a survey cost the city about 8 months ago was $850. The issue of if we were to do that is the state will cover 1 survey for us, but they will not cover the second. So we'd have to find that within my budget to do that. We've done plats a couple of times you may have seen, and the city eats that cost. So a plat will cost us almost double. So we'll typically eat that cost because the state will not pay for that.
If we did that and they disagreed with each other, would we have to have a 3rd survey done?
If they disagreed with each other, typically what happens when 2 surveys disagree is you actually take that to a court and you let a judge rule on where that property line actually were to be. So you're talking about court costs on top of that. You wouldn't keep bringing surveyors into the mix and see who agrees with each other more often. A judge will actually rule that.
Could you get any kind of waiver between the parties? I mean, I know they're the same family, but some kind of waiver that says, hey, we agree, we know it's not exactly right, and we're gonna forego any kind of litigation on that?
You could. I mean, I could work with them and see if they're willing to make an agreement.
But the variance actually gives them the ability.
The variance gives them the ability to build. I think the concern is when we build this and then 10 years later when someone does a survey, is it actually where it's at? I think is the concern.
Working with family is great until it's not.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
We could get something on there.
What made you go with a different surveyor this time?
So this is actually one, so our grant administrator decides a surveyor. And so we've been using these folks, I think they're out of Boston, for about a year or 2 now.
And then working with our local surveyor, was there a big difference? And, I mean, why were they working together if we hired a surveyor?
So in this area, we've had traditionally a lot of issues.
Right.
When a new surveyor comes in, and Tim can attest to this because we met with residents that came here about 6 months ago and they did a survey completely incorrectly. They had the legal description all wrong as well, not even just that where they started the survey at. So I've met with the local surveyor. He believes he has a good feeling for what's in this area. And so I asked them to work together because they were already decided to do the project. And so I didn't want them to come back with a survey that the city's paying money for, and then I could just tell them without being a surveyor that that's your way off. So I asked them to work together to save the city some money on that, but it's not the city's decision who the surveyor is. And the grant administrator had some concerns with our local surveyor, so I asked them to work together.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions for Ben? Staff's recommendation?
Approval.
Being no other questions, I'll entertain action on this agenda item.
I make a motion that we allow a 5-foot setback at each side property line at 420 East Third Avenue, Rockdale, Texas, for item number 8.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Regular agenda number 9. Nobody to speak on 9. Consider and take any necessary action on the first reading of an ordinance canceling a portion of the May 2nd, 2026 general election for the office of Council Member West Ward, declaring an unopposed candidate to be elected and providing an open meetings clause for and for other matters. Tim?
So this is just a bit of housekeeping because of the fact that Councilman Perry is unopposed in the West Ward. This will cancel that portion of the election, and basically he'll be declared as elected. We've already had the ballots printed up, so your name would still be on the ballot, but it would just not be for election.
Does it save any money? I guess it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry?
Does it save any money? Is there still gonna be election on the east side?
No, it doesn't save any money. It is just kind of a housekeeping deal.
That's it. I'll make a motion that we, I guess it's the first reading of
Yeah, first reading.
the ordinance declaring Lynn Perry elected for the West Ward.
A second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? I am going to wait to have a vote until Councilmember Starnes gets back from.
You can't vote no either.
I apologize for the delay. I want to give him the opportunity to vote. We really don't have a quorum since you have to abstain. We wouldn't have a quorum because you have to abstain from this.
Mayor, in the interest of time, I make a motion that we take a vote with who's present, and if there's an issue, we can, well, here he is.
Councilmember Starnes, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this first reading. All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand.
Y'all hear that?
Yes.
Raise your hand.
Signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 10, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, if I'm reading it correctly. Persons signed up to speak on this agenda item, so we will hear the speakers. Prior to considering action on agenda item number 10, I have signed up first, Belinda Hillhouse.
Okay. Hi, I'm Belinda Hillhouse, 707 Middleton. I have been a library board member. I am not at the moment. We're getting ready to move, and I saw no reason to have everybody go through the thing of picking somebody new in a month or two. So, but anyway, abolishing the library board and the information in your packet about why this is being done is as bad as anything that the library board ever did. We had a new director. She did a great job on many things, and the library board did say that she did a great job on many things. There were some concerns that were expressed to us as board members. We asked about them. I talked to the city manager, got no results. I gave y'all an email. we felt like our job was similar to what yours is. As in, when people bring concerns to us, it is our responsibility to give them to somebody who can do something about them. Now, like I said, we really did appreciate her enthusiasm. We appreciated most of the things that she did. There were just some problems that we had. And the advisory board is an advisory board. Nobody has to do what the library board says. The only thing that came up in the last year that really we were supposed to approve was the policies and procedures, and I don't know that we really had to approve them. We were asked to approve them. And it's like somebody wanted us to approve them without reading them to begin with. And I don't approve anything I don't read. And then later we had a meeting, and there were some things that were not exactly correct, and you can't approve something if it's not what you think it is or what it's supposed to be. So anyway, there were some problems, we know that, but you need a library board. The library board helps. And at the last board meeting, the description for the job was posted the day before the meeting. None of us on the board had seen this on the website, so we did not know that there was going to be any difference. At the board meeting, we were not told anything about it. I can understand that we were not told at the beginning of the meeting because we didn't need to sit and talk about that the whole time. There were other things to discuss. But I would have thought that at the end, there would have been something said. The library board would have been informed. The library board was never informed that the director was leaving. Ever. Okay. Now, this is on the agenda for tonight. The library board has not been informed that it's on the agenda. Most people did not know anything about it, or the ones that I have talked to. Like I said, I'm no longer on the board, but several of the people that are on the board are friends. I've consulted with them. That's really not the way that any board should be treated. Boards should be kept up to date on what is going on if it affects them. The city sent out an email to some of the people who had been on boards recently saying, if you know anybody who would like to be on a board, please have them fill out an application and apply. Well, if that's the way your boards are going to be treated, you're not going to get a lot of people wanting to be on it. And I know at least one of the board members says she's already resigned. I don't know if she has or not, but that's what she said, and I don't know who she resigned to. But anyway, you do have the power to remove people from boards at any time you want to do so. That's something that you can do. And the other thing is your piece of paper in your packet says that the ordinance in 2016 created the board. That's not true. There was a board before. There's been a board for a long time, and Ms. Todd is here, who was our librarian for like 30 years, and she can tell you about the boards before and what's happened with them. So that was about all I had to say anyway. Thank you, but please consider
Thank you, Ms.
several
Hillhouse.
things.
Jerry, you signed up to speak on this one, sir?
Yes. I'm Jerry McPeak. I live at 571 East Highway 79. I didn't really realize that this was on the agenda until after I'd already written my whole page that I was going to say here. So I now see it's on the agenda. And I came to speak about doing away with the library board. I'm in favor of doing away with the library board. I would see the library board, if there is one, their function as being there to support and assist the head librarian. to accomplish his or her goals for the library. I feel like the board that we have now has done just the opposite of that. I feel like it's created a toxic environment. I'm going to leave part of this out just for the peace and harmony. And I'll just say that my position is that we should do away with the board and let the librarian do the job he or she is hired to do. To quote Brother Dave Melton just a few minutes ago, no one needs to be micromanaged. And so my vote, if this council tonight on this first reading votes more than unanimously or more in favor of doing away with the board, that's great. If they don't, I'll say the rest of this at the second reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McPeak. Ms. McPeak? Dee Dee?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee McPeak. I live with him at 571 East Highway 79. And we came to Rockdale in 1986. And the first place I went when we got a house was to the library to get my card. So I've been a card member there for that long. My kids went to the library. The grandkids went to the library. And when they got older and there were no more little kids, I started volunteering for story time and the summer reading program. And then Melanie and I probably got there about the same time, so I've been with her ever since. And we developed a good friendship, and she gave me opportunities to do things I never would have thought I would done. She asked me to decorate the library and the windows, and it was like, what? I don't know how to do this. But I learned to do it. And so I just feel that, I was sad when she left. I really was. We'd had 30 years together. But I was glad for her because, it was time for her to have her life. Well, you're always kind of nervous when somebody new is coming in because you don't know how they're going to be. Will they like you? Will they let you still continue to do what you did? Well, Lisa did. She was really good with me, and I liked what she did with the library. She hit the ground running. She saw things that she wanted to do, and she did them. And the public liked her. The kids were having a great time. The parents were glad. She got game day going on Mondays at the library for people to come in and learn to play. There's a bridge game going on now. Tuesday was crocheting, come in and learn. Then we had adult art on Friday, which was wonderful. So I was kind of shocked when all of a sudden she told me one day that she'd resigned because I couldn't believe it. And then, not from her, but just from word, that it was because of the library advisory board, that they were less than friendly. I've been on it a few times. I couldn't ever serve on it because I lived outside the city limits. But for a couple years, Melanie asked me to sit in, and I did. And they were okay. I didn't really ever sense that they were all for the library, but they were okay. But this was just a total shock. And when she left, I couldn't believe it. And I, asked her, would she change her mind? And she said, no, it was toxic and it was just time, for her to go. But I'm really sorry about that. And I really think that we need to rethink the Library Advisory Board because it's not to criticize people. It's not to drag them down. It's to, advise and help. But listen to what they have to say. So I just really think it should be, disbanded. If they want to put something else in, that's fine. You can get a committee together to discuss it. But I really just think that this last thing with her leaving like that, it wasn't a good thing.
Thank you, Ms. McPeak. Next to speak on this agenda item is Melanie Todd. Welcome back, Melanie.
Oh, thank you.
How's retirement?
It's wonderful.
Don't brag. No, I'm kidding.
It's wonderful. I live at 1605 Yoakley. When I started at the library back in 1994, Bob and Barbara Thompson were instrumental in the library and introduced me to the central library system. And ever since I've been at the library board has always been very important to me. To me, if you would do away with the library board, that would be similar to doing away with the school board, the airport board, maybe the parks board. Unfortunately, this last occasion for the lady that came after me was unfortunate for the board and for that person. But library boards, perhaps they got off track. Sometimes people clash. You need to learn to get along with people that are on the different boards. I had challenges from time to time, but a library board, if it works the way it should, and with the library director, should promote the library, advocate for funds for the budget, and encourage the use of the library. The library began upstairs at what was the old city hall. You can see the picture there. The first paid librarian was Mabel Jones. The library started upstairs because there were a group of people, including the Thompsons. There were Gladys and H.D. Maxwell. Joyce Dally owns a home that they once lived in. And there was like Fredonia Lanning. There was also Councilman Starnes' grandmother, Lorraine Miller. They were all involved with the library and the library board, as well as like Bootsy Peebles, different people. The library board has had a long history with the city of Rockdale, and I think the board is very important. There might need to be some rethinking of what the library board members need to do. They should understand they're an advisory board, but I found through the years that you needed to listen to people's different suggestions, the library board members as well as patrons coming into the library. And I think for the future of the library, for the library to grow, and with Rockdale continuing to grow with the new housing and different populations moving this way, it would be very helpful to have a library board. Most every library, when I've gone to different meetings, they have a library board. We might want to relook at some of the qualifications of who can be on the library board. I was looking recently on some of the other libraries. They actually will let other people that don't live in the city limits serve on the library board. You could also be sure that you did have an overturn of who's on the library board. If you can overturn different people, you don't end up with the same people. But I enjoyed all my years with the library, and I felt like the library board supported me. You just have different personalities and different people to get along with. I really would hate to see the library board done away with. I think it's very important. If you think about the Texas State Library and Archives in Austin, we can do online training through them, and we had done reports every year, an annual report, and there's always a question on there, do you have a library board, and who is the chairperson? And the Texas State Library has a board that they report to. And I would think it would be a real shame to do away with the library board. I think that would be the same as doing away with the school board. I think it's very important to have an advisory board. So I hope you will really take that into consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. Niels, you signed up to speak on some topic, my friend, but you didn't put the topic.
I didn't have time, sir.
What's the topic?
What's the agenda item?
I don't have enough time for all of them, but I would like to talk about one that,
Is it,
on the agenda, or was it something that you wanted to speak about in just regular items not on the agenda?
not on the agenda.
Not on the, okay, so Niels, we've had this problem before, but out of respect for you, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes on an item that's not on the agenda, so please approach
Yeah,
the,
let's do it after we do the board, after the.
okay, let's finish this.
Doesn't have
One
anything to do with
second.
the library, right?
It's not about the library, right?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do it after this. So just hold tight for me, please. 1 second, Niels. Let us finish this business first. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak in regard to the library board agenda item? Okay, council, now you have this agenda item before you.
So what's been proposed is just dissolving the board in its entirety. I'll tell you that I don't think that's a good idea. That's happened when I first got on the council. The MDD board was just fired for no reason or without notice. It may have been reason, maybe not. But it didn't set well with me at the time. And when you do stuff like that, you don't get some of those people back, and you need them back. We're begging for people to volunteer for these boards, and when you fire them all, you're going to lose somebody that's an asset that it rubs them wrong, and rightfully so. I'm 100% in favor of getting rid of the bad apples. However, we need to do that is the direction that needs to head, in my opinion, but not disbanding the whole board in its entirety, because you're not going to get them back.
Well, I was on that MD when we got fired. And got a phone call, so we didn't get noticed, so I understand that. I think your recommendation is to dissolve it, but to redo it again in a few months, is that
Yes,
correct?
so this is the first reading of this ordinance, so it will come back in April. And if it does come back in April, I would make sure that all of the current board members are notified and have the opportunity to come and speak to council in regard to this. Based on the situation that we've just gone through, I am recommending, and after having talked to several of you about this issue, that's kind of why I brought this to you today. It is my recommendation to go ahead and dissolve it and come back and reform it in a few months. Basically, I would probably recommend a 5-member board instead of an 8-member board. It gets a little bit cumbersome, but also to clearly define in the ordinance what their role and mission is in regard to providing advice and support for the librarian, and what their role and mission isn't, and that is in regard to managing the library director.
Well, I'll say this, I think it's sad that we're in this situation. That we have people moving to Rockdale. Well, she was hired to come here and to make a change, and some people don't like it and they run them off. And I have an email from one, if not 2 people expressing their concerns. I was told somebody else has resigned. I don't know if they have, hopefully they haven't. But it's sad. And it reminds me what happened with the chamber a couple of years ago or last year. Some new people got on the board, something happened at an event, the next thing you know, they quit. You know, we need new ideas. We need new people here. And we have to get some teeth or something. Somebody, they're rocking the boat, get them out of there.
I mean,
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Do the bylaws that are currently in place for the library board allow for people to be removed? I heard Ms. Hillhouse say that it did. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's
so the
wrong by any
library
means. I
board,
don't know.
library board members, it's not part of their bylaws, but library board members are appointed by council and can be removed at the direction of the council by a vote for any or no reason. But in this particular case, I mean, I've attended every regular board meeting since I've been here, and as Councilman Melton, and generally they're lengthy meetings, and there's a lot of wheels that are spinning and not really going anywhere. And I've seen attempts to micromanage. Most of the board members have been relatively quiet, while a few on the board have been outspoken. And I just think from the standpoint of restarting it, I know that I don't believe that the good apples, as you say, we wouldn't lose them. But that is something that we could definitely reach out to them, because I think that the library board does have a function, and it is important in the long term. But I think it is important to reset.
So this is the first reading, so if it did pass to dissolve, you could, in the meantime, before the next meeting, speak with some of those people and see if they would come back in 2 or 3 months or whenever you want to redo it. And give us
And I would
an
invite.
update. Maybe you don't have to say names, you could just say, I've got 5 or
And
6 that said they want to do
I
it
would
again.
also invite, I would notify them all and let them know so that they could be here to speak to you directly.
If I
Why
could.
go through all that? Clean house, get rid of the ones that are bad and be done with it.
If I could speak from the perspective of someone who served on the library board as a citizen before I was elected, and then I was the council liaison. And so I have been a part of library board meetings for many years. And I go back to Melanie, and I always enjoyed working with Melanie. And I thank you for your service to our community as a librarian. I found her very helpful. And your comments tonight you sounded like a librarian, and I loved it. Thank you for your service. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Were you actually appointed to the library board? I know you were on the landscaping committee, but I don't remember you being a library board member.
I know that I was, but because I attended virtually it seemed like I was there just about every meeting, but you could be correct.
I don't know if you were.
You could be correct. I guess my point is that I was present
You were present,
at meetings, and that's what matters. And so I can say that evening, what took place was an embarrassment. And we had people who were guests who were sitting there, and some of them spoke to me afterwards. The way that our librarian was spoken to was rude. It was inappropriate. And whether we knock it down and build it back up or however we go about it, we have to make sure that there is some type of expectations of behavior and respecting the dignity of each person and making sure that something like this would never happen on any of our boards again.
Well, that goes to a roles and responsibilities of every single board that the city has, not just this library board, understanding what your role and what your responsibility is and not overstepping that. But how does it get to that point? How does it not, if we as council have the ability to remove somebody from a board that is disruptive to the board, how does it get to this point before we ever know about it? I guess that's a problem in the function of the boards, right?
Is there a liaison to the library board like there is to the other boards?
That's me.
That's you, okay. So that's what you were conveying there, that you saw that activity's going on.
Words being said, tones being set.
Well, I if we want to dissolve it, I'm fine dissolving it as long as we have a clear and concise plan of how and when we're going to rebuild it. Because it is a function that needs to happen. It needs to be a functionable board. How we get there, we can get there 2 different ways. If this is the way that you would like to do it, Tim, I will support that as long as between now and second reading, there is a plan of who, how, and when we're going to rebuild that board.
Who's filling out now for the director?
I'm sorry?
Who's filling in now for the director?
The library director, Elizabeth Kelly is acting in the capacity of interim director. We are in the process of a search. So we've got a few applications. I'm not really thrilled about any that we have yet, but.
I mean, I will agree with Mayor Pro Tem Perry that I think it's a valuable board, but I do think, what has gone on has not seemed to be well. And I think we need to look at, again, roles, responsibilities, attitudes, how we're gonna address it. I mean, I hate to say it's the library, it should be fun. And I know every day is not fun, but you know what, we should enjoy it. We should enjoy going there. The library director, I did have a couple of times to meet with her, and there was some good spirit to her. She enjoyed the library. When she talked about the library, she was very enthusiastic about the library. It's when I talked about the young ladies with Taco Fest. I mean, I don't know how much they knew about a festival, but damn, they were excited about it. And excitement a lot of times will get you a long way in life. A long way.
I think the word dissolve, we can interpret how we want, but what I'm understanding is we just need a hard reset. You know, not to say we need to dissolve it indefinitely. I think the library board is an incremental piece to the success of the library, but we do need a hard reset, and that's what I'll be voting for today.
I would agree.
Before I make a motion, Melanie, thank you for your words. Like I said, we're gonna rebuild it, I promise you. I make a motion that we take,
Can I say one more thing?
sure, absolutely.
I would still recommend that you have the 8 members on it, and one is actually the library director plus 7 other people. Because back when Joyce Valley was attending a lot of the board meetings at one time, as well as Sharon Cloud, and we re-looked and redid the ordinances, seems like back in 2015 or 16, and we really put a lot of thought in that. And if you look at the ordinances that we put a lot of thought into, I think it would take care of a lot of those things. Perhaps something should have been done. Maybe you could have proceeded, moved forward on your thoughts on it. Maybe, like you were saying, get rid of somebody if they're causing a lot of trouble. But when you're the library director, as well as when you're on the board, you need to interact and work with the board, with the people coming in, the community. You need to all work. All boards can have issues, no matter what kind of board. But you've got to all work together because you have the same goal in mind.
That's well said, Melanie, and thank you, because once this came to light to council, I went down and I sat down with each library employee. I may get a little tuned up here, but bear with me. I was embarrassed as a mayor to hear the way some of those employees conveyed to me that they were treated. And I was embarrassed of myself for not having realized that prior to having employees quit, employees resign. And I vowed that I would never let that happen again to one of our employees, no matter what department they're in. Because everybody, no matter where you work, you deserve to come to work and feel safe and comfortable and confident in your workplace. I don't care where you work. That was not a good situation down at the library. And I'm sorry that it existed. And I can assure you, as long as I continue to be mayor, it will never exist like it did again.
If I could address just a point, though, what Melanie was saying, and I appreciate what she is saying. We all have to learn to get along with different kind of people. And I know that the different ones of you and I have had moments where we didn't agree with each other, maybe didn't think the best of one another, but we work it out. And so in your comment about, being there and not, there really wasn't anything. This was a one-time horrifically ugly event. It wasn't something that I would have ever forecast was going to happen in our library. So forgive me if I didn't have the whatever to foresee this, but it was not this pattern that you dealt with every 3 months when you met. It was, like I said, a one-time ugly event.
May I say just one more thing? I know when I started at the library and I followed Caroline Thibodeau, and it was like the first few months I was there, it was like Caroline always did it this way, Caroline always did it that way. And she was only there about 5 years, whereas when Lisa came in, I had been there 30 years. So I mean, you're gonna see a lot of change, and change is good, but people are not quick to get on board with change. But like I said, the ideal goal is for the library director and the board to work well together, and then to work with the council and the mayor and the city manager. Everyone has to work together.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna yank this Band-Aid off real quick. All right, so, I'm making a motion that we take, the first, necessary action, the first reading of ordinance dissolving the library advisory board. And I would like to add in that at the next meeting, second reading, I'd like to do it a little faster than later in the year. I think we need to pick a May 1st or something pretty quick, and I think we can do it in the second reading. We can pick a date at that time, is that correct?
Who, when, and where?
Yeah.
Second reading.
All right.
I would, it's your motion, sir, I apologize. Go ahead. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I want to clarify that your expectation is that between this reading and the second reading, that in that second reading, there will be a plan put forth
Yes.
that tells us who, when, what, and where.
And we'll have a date that we're gonna set for the board to be.
I would like to share my discussion at this point on the motion. I would encourage council to consider, I mean, I heard some great people back there that live just outside of the city limits that have done some wonderful work in the library that maybe would consider being on the board if a new board is appointed, and we go about that. I would encourage council to consider possibly allowing someone that lives outside of the city limits. I think I heard Melanie say that many library boards consist of people that don't necessarily live inside the incorporated city limits. So we may be missing some opportunities to get some really strong and positive influence on a library board.
I think that's gonna have to go back
You
to,
can also look online at different libraries and see what ordinances they have for their library advisory boards. You could get ideas, but that's what we did back in 2016. So I think our ordinances are good, just people have got to work together.
Can I say one other thing, please? And I want to get to, I want to make sure we know and our focus, and I think our focus is correct, but this library is for the citizens, okay? It's not for the library board, it's not for the librarian, it's for the citizens. And we as council need to ensure, and we as city management need to ensure we are managing this board and this group of employees properly, where that library can continue to prosper and our citizens can enjoy going down there. And I can't tell you how many kids I've seen go down there and have a great time. And our kids in our community can be comfortable and confident that they can go down there and have a good time. And I'm not implying that anything happened with the kid by all means. Nothing like that occurred.
I think the city's bylaws or however charter does not currently allow for anyone outside the city limits to serve on any boards within the city.
That is true for the library board. It's not necessarily true for all boards, but in some cities I've seen where you have outside board members, typically the jurisdiction of the library extends beyond the city limits, and you have financial participation by the county or this ISD, and so that would specify. The last board actually covered 2 ISDs that contributed to the library, and so we had one board member from outside, from one area, another one from the other area, plus those that were interior board members.
But that's something we're gonna have to currently look into to see if we have that
Yes,
ability.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got a second.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there, yes, ma'am?
There's a gentleman that lives outside of the city limits that serves on the municipal development board.
I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
There's a gentleman who lives outside the city limits that serves on the municipal development board.
I appreciate that comment. That's not on the agenda to be discussed, but thank you for that comment.
No, I'm just saying that there is somebody that.
Oh,
lives
okay. No,
outside
yes,
the
thank
city
you.
limits
Seriously, thank you for
that
the comment.
serves on a board.
Yes, ma'am. Motion is second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Niels,
You're up, buddy.
you're up, buddy. You've got 3 minutes. I apologize, council, but I didn't want to skip Niels. He signed up on the wrong page.
My mistake. What I'd like to talk about is the interpretation of CTNs. Isn't it, for instance, somebody's on my property and I want them gone. RPD won't do it because a squatter's on my property, wants them there. They don't pay rent. They have no agreement to be there. I want them gone, but I have to evict him. Turn it around, the lady that was just here, she has no reason to keep me from her property. She stays at Shady Grove. Yet her stepdad, who wants a relationship with her, instead of her mother, gets a CTN against me for the whole trailer park. Not just his spot, the whole trailer park, including her spot that I paid rent on. Now, I go by there and see an open door. It looks like a crime scene. I go and knock. The door's open. Nobody comes. I got dinner for 2. I got Kenneth Morton and Terry Owens have witnessed me leaving Walmart. They took home the bulk of my groceries, what I had in my hand, that I left with. She didn't come home about 20, 30 minutes, and I get worried because she's pregnant and she's had a history of pregnancy-related problems. So I took a spotlight that I had around my neck and I shined it in the door this way. I shined it that way to see if she was laying there in a pool of blood, somebody hit her in the head because there's a lot of thievery going on out there, or maybe she was asleep. Any one of the three with one foot still outside the door. I spun around and see Kenny Barker and Norman Zachary Norman. I just got on my e-bike was on the front steps. If I was going to burglarize the place, I wouldn't park my bicycle on the front steps. Good grief. But I didn't want any confrontation with them. I just left. I had the idea that something like that might come up. She comes to the house on Friday night. We get an agreement. I'm going to turn myself in as soon as the bank opens, and I can get $10,000 for the CT violation. One policeman that I'm writing about here, in particular, on several different cases, is the culprit in all this, and he's been duped by Barker. I'm telling you the real truth. And Courtney, she just walked out. She back up what I say. That's why she's here. And tried to talk to the captain today. But it's another one of these cases, like when I spent 93 days in jail about 4 years ago, and every case I almost had with RPDs, they will not get all of the interested parties' statements before they try to get a arrest warrant. And any cop, and I got 400 reality checks with other police departments, sheriff's departments. I just did some on camera the other day. I do that on a regular basis and have been doing it for 9.
Thank you, Niels.
3 years. All right.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 11. I believe I have someone, Felicia Pineda, you signed up to speak on agenda item number 11?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, City Manager, Council, I'm gonna excuse myself from the conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the record, Councilmember Willie is recusing himself from any discussion or action on this agenda item. Go ahead, Felicia.
Dear Mayor, members of the Rockdale City Council and Rockdale City Manager, my name is Felicia Pineda, and I'm the Vice President of Operations of 3 early learning centers in the community: Tigertown Learning Center, Little Yeoman Learning Center, and Little Ducklings Learning Center, 2 of which are the only 2 privately owned child care centers that are our 4-star Texas Rising Star provider. I am here today to respectfully ask the City of Rockdale to support and adopt the property tax exemption made possible by Proposition 2 in the 2023 general election, which was passed by Rockdale voters by over a 60% margin. Child care centers play a vital role in the supporting working families and strengthening the local economy. Many parents in Rockdale rely on safe, reliable child care so they can go to work each day. However, operating a quality child care program comes with significant costs, especially for small businesses that are committed to maintaining high standards. Under Prop 2, cities have the ability to provide a property tax exemption for licensed child care providers who meet specific quality requirements. To qualify, providers must be at least a 3 or 4-star Texas Rising Star certified program and serve families who receive child care services. Programs must maintain at least 20% CCS enrollment, in which of Tigertown maintains over 50%. Approving this exemption would allow child care providers in Rockdale to reinvest those savings directly into improving the care and safety of the children we serve. For example, the savings could help purchase important safety equipment such as a portable defibrillator or assist with basic operating costs such as water and electricity. Even covering a portion of these utilities can make a meaningful difference for small child care businesses working to maintain high-quality care. Most importantly, this support helps ensure that families who rely on CCS assistance continue to have access to high-quality child care options in our community. This exemption is not automatic. It requires the City of Rockdale to take action and approve it so that qualifying providers can apply. Once you apply for the exemption, you do not have to reapply yearly. However, we could submit a yearly report stating we still qualify under the guidelines. Supporting this measure is an investment in Rockdale's children's, families, and workforce. High-quality early childhood education benefits our entire community by helping children start school ready to learn and allowing parents to remain active in the workforce. I respectfully ask the City Council to listen to the needs of child care providers and families in our community and approve the exemption so that we can continue serving Rockdale at the highest level possible. Thank you for your time, your service, and your consideration.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments, or Tim?
I was just going to say that, so when the legislature adopted these regulations, I think it was last session, or 2 sessions ago, last session.
I think too.
Anyways, it really doesn't give the city option as far as whether we approve it or not. We just are able to approve it based on the rate that we want to set for that exemption. And I was recommending 75% tax exemption, which mirrors what the county approved for Tigertown. But I would just say that Tigertown is a great facility for the city of Rockdale. They exceed all of the requirements that the legislature sets out. They've got about 60% of their students receiving subsidies, and they're only required to have 20%. They're actually a 4-star rated facility, which is, I think, highly coveted. It's the only one in Milam County.
We are the only one, there's 2. Cameron and Rockdale are the only 2 privately owned 4-star.
Are they both operated by y'all?
Yes.
Okay, so there's 2, and they're both operated by Tigertown. Are they called Tigertown and Cameron?
Well, Cameron is Little Yeoman Learning Center.
Okay.
Wouldn't have any attendance if they weren't.
So then I would recommend that we make this conditional that they change the name to Tigertown. This is the first reading of this ordinance, and I would probably will amend the ordinance for the second reading to require that they submit annually a statement and certifying that they're still meeting the requirements of the legislation. But I do think it's a really good thing, and so.
Yeah, I heard her say that, it says you don't have to do it, but I recommend that, yeah, that everybody do that, just to know where they're at.
Yes.
So I heard you say that you're the only 4-star in the county.
Independent.
Anything that I vote on, trying to figure out what Pandora's box we're opening, who else is gonna be coming in saying, I want 75% and I qualify, I'm only a 2-star, or whatever it might be, but I still qualify. How many of these can we expect to come through the door?
No, I have not gotten any. This was adopted, and we're actually coming up, we're pushing the deadline to actually get it adopted because of the fact that it has to be approved before April, the end of April. And so it requires 2 readings, and so this is it for this year. Maybe next year there will be another daycare center or child care center that comes in that qualifies, that could apply. But this year, this is it.
And to qualify for that, you do have to be a 3 or 4-star Texas Rising Star provider. You have to meet certain qualifications for it.
Are you aware of any other child care facilities that are 3-star?
3 or 4?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
How many child care facilities are there in Rockdale currently?
There are 3, including Tigertown.
There are 3, including Tigertown?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that Love and Learning, the school, and
Tigertown.
Tigertown?
Yes, sir.
Love and Learning's already a 501c3, right?
Yes.
School is, so you're leveling up the playing field.
I
Any
think
other
that's Love and Learning.
questions? I'll entertain action on the first reading of this agenda item.
I'll make a motion that we approve a tax exemption under tax proposition 2 for Tigertown Learning Center on an item number 11.
I'll second.
Motion is second on the floor. Is there any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
Hey, Mayor.
Council member, 1 second.
Thank you.
Council member Willie, not participating. Is that what you wanted me to say? Thank you. Or recusing himself. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 12. But I have, Mr. Puckles,
Yes.
you had signed up to speak on an agenda item as well. Are you good, sir? Would you like?
I'm good with what I said.
Yes, sir, you are?
previously, correct.
Okay, thank you.
You can change your mind?
Consider and take,
I got a whole lot to say, but I'm sure you guys,
thank you,
I
sir.
can say a whole lot more and get more heated.
I understand.
You know,
I respect that, I do, I promise you, thank you. Consider and take any necessary action on an agreement with the assessor collector, I presume that's Milam County Tax Assessor Collector,
Yes, sir.
for the ordinance, the Cornerstone Public Improvement District collection. Tim?
So the PID assessment that's collected in Cornerstone is billed annually to the owners of all lots and land tied to the PID bond that was issued in early 2023. Last year, we had asked the Milam County Assessor Collector to handle that, and they indicated they weren't in a position to be able to do that. And so we contracted with a third-party TexGov Solutions to handle that. I think there was a $3,000 or $4,000 cost for that. This year, have been talking with the Assessor Collector, and they have proposed the agreement that's in your packet. And there actually is no fee for them to do this. They will send the bills out with the tax bills. So the residents will only get one, and it would go directly to their mortgage holders as well.
So this was the agreement we had with them last year, and it seemed like it went to the, right at the last minute. They said, oh, by the way, we can't handle this.
Yeah, so we had tried to get them to do it
Threw
last
us into a scramble.
And this year were earlier this year, and they have agreed, they actually proposed the agreement.
We have a new regiment over there too. There's new tax collection.
So I would hope that it would be a much smoother process for those homeowners and landowners out there and less confusion.
Yep.
Because it's coming from one taxing entity and not a third-party administrator.
And the county would, if council approves this tonight, the county will still it'll still go before the county commissioners for approval. But I know that the gentleman that I've been dealing with, that's helping the assessor collector's office has talked to Judge Whitmire about it. So I don't anticipate any issues.
how's this affect the homeowners? How's this help us?
There's not a separate bill that you're gonna get separate from the county.
I understand that, okay, that's good, less mail. But what we're saying is.
I'm gonna have to ask you, we can't have discussion on this, sir. I apologize. I understand. I respect what you're saying, and I respect what you want to say as well. But we have to do our business at this time.
I will say, just like I told you, if you'll call tomorrow morning,
Yes, please.
he will be able to share some information with you. I'll give you my number. We can three-way call him in if you would like to. He'll answer, promise you.
I've called 3 times.
He has no answer for you. He has an answer tomorrow for you. If you will call tomorrow morning, he will be able to update you based off of events that have happened since the last meeting and will happen in executive session tonight. He will be able to answer your questions. That's all we can tell you at this time.
Tim,
The city manager.
city manager.
And
Do
that's.
you have his cell number?
I do not.
It's 512-760-5850.
Thank you.
And that's legally, that's all we can tell you tonight.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, council, you have a agenda item before you consider any action on this item.
I'll make
Agenda
a,
item number 12.
I'll make a motion that we, contract with the Milam County Tax Assessor for the Cornerstone Public Improvement District PID collection for 2026.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I have further discussion.
Go ahead.
Assuming that this better case scenario is true and this has a better resolution, I'm assuming that the Milam County Tax Office Collector, that they know what they might be getting into as far as phone calls and people complaining and whatnot. You know what, we see tragic situations where it's taken out on an office. Has this all been fully explained to them that you're not having happy customers here?
I'm pretty sure they're well aware of it.
I would think they're aware, and I would think, they're role is to collect taxes, right? And nobody's happy about paying taxes, no matter where you live, especially at the rate we're all paying taxes.
I'll take you all at your word.
Any other discussion? Being none, we'll vote. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 13, consider and take any necessary action on a lease agreement with George Grayson for the property at Beverly and Hickman. Tim?
So this is the property on Beverly, right across from the wastewater treatment plant. The city owns the tract that extend all the way from Hickory all the way down to the highway. And he's looking to lease a little over an acre, a little less than an acre and a half, to allow for his horses to graze. He's spending money to put in fences to contain the horses. And so the city is not using this property. This is a 2-year agreement, but we can get out of it pretty much at any time. And so my recommendation is just a little bit of revenue, but this is not the first time the city's done this type of thing.
My only question is, do we have any liability, being the landowner and his horse gets out and smacks it with a car? Do we just invite ourselves into a party with you?
I jumped the gun on it. I got a little excited and had the fence put up.
Mr. Grayson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I've talked to him on the phone many
Come up
times.
to the mic so it can be broadcast.
No, I take full responsibility of my horses. I had the fence put up, a new fence put up, because the old one was trashed. And I kind of jumped the gun on it because I thought I was really going to have it. So I had a new fence put up around the property, and I paid for it. Like I say, I take full responsibility of my horses. They get out, stolen, I take full responsibility.
I understand that, Barbara. Do we need something that protects us? Because we're not gonna have a problem with this fella.
On
We're
page,
gonna have a problem with whoever hit the horse.
so on page 4, there is an indemnity clause,
Okay?
but I don't know if that covers if the horse gets out and gets hit by a car and,
I will take another look at that. and
I'm
make
sorry?
I will take another look at that and make sure whether it covers everything. But
Okay.
It's supposed to cover just about everything. I mean,
It has in here, in addition, if landlord, by reason of landlord's ownership of the leased property is named as defendant in any claim for injury, any person. Anyways, so I guess I would ask council, if you approve this, we will make sure that language is tightened as tight as it needs to be.
I think that should be in the motion, if there is a motion.
I'll make a motion that the city, consider or accept the first reading.
This is not a first.
No, it's not a first reading. It'll be, if the motion passes tonight, it's a done deal.
I will make a motion that, we accept item number
13.
13 to enter into an agreement with George Grayson on the approval by the city attorney that there is a level of protection between Mr. Grayson and the city of Rockdale for something to happen.
A motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion and a second on the floor, is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 14, consider and take any necessary action on a contract with Acme regarding pothole repairs to the airport runway. Gerald?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Oh, Gerald.
There is a small mistake here. It was from our gentleman that did the contract and is the consultant for the city. The name of the company is not Acme. It is,
Top
dang it,
notch.
I just had it a minute ago.
Top notch.
Top notch.
Thank you very much. Y'all got the copy of the new one? Okay, I did not see that. top notch. So there is that change, but he was still the low bidder, and this is a ramp grant expenditure that is completely paid for by TxDOT Aviation, and it was recommended by the airport board.
Do we know anything about Top Notch?
No, sir.
How do we, I guess that would be my only concern of checking some references of some sort.
How many potholes are there?
Well, there's a list of them in the agenda item.
Felt like we could almost
It's
pull
quite a
up
few.
Redbud and repaved it for the same amount.
25.
The problem is, the problem is the base of the airport runway is failing. And we just had, Texas A&M University had a crew down here, 2 weeks ago, and we're checking it again. We have not got that report in, but we had one done 2 years ago. And, we have a marginal, base under most of the runway, so that's why we're seeing the potholes.
And the potholes are along the edge of the runway.
Most of the potholes are along the edge, not all of them, but the majority.
Is there a spec or a set of drawings or something that these guys are bidding to, or just a set of
Yes.
pictures? I don't want to end up with lipstick on a pig.
Yes, well, Mr. Phillips, who is our Innovative Solutions, has been in the airport industry for many years, both public and private, and his consulting company has worked with us on all the projects for the last 3 years, and he's been very conscientious in his workforce and done an extremely good job. So I've put my faith in Mr. Phillips, but we can go back. I have not signed a contract. If you approve it, then I can go back and look at the contract, and before I sign it, I can ask for some recommendations for that.
Is he local or? Where are they out of?
I
didn't see
can't,
that in the packet.
I don't remember.
What about Austin Road? I mean, we know Alpha, they did. the,
Sure, yeah.
Kelly Road, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who they are. You said you didn't know Austin or not?
No, Austin.
Road crew,
Yeah, they
they
did
came
some
in
work
second.
for us last year at the
Austin
airport.
did? Okay.
I think they're the ones that did the turnaround on the south side.
So I'm assuming there's something very special about runway pothole fixing. I mean,
Again, it's basically what they'll take it out, put some more base in there, pack it down, and then put asphalt over the top of it.
You'd want it to be special if you were landed in that plane.
Well, the runway is in marginal condition, and then there's no doubt about that. But we did some work on it last year, crack seal, and did some repairs on it, and since then, we've had these potholes show up, and it's strictly a matter of the base.
This would all be
By the way,
funded.
Top Notch is a Milam County contractor. They're about halfway between here and Thorndale.
This would all be funded through the grant?
Yes, sir. It's a $100,000 grant, which we put $11,111 with, but this we've already paid our $11,000 or have enough to do that, and so this will all be sent to the TxDOT Aviation for reimbursement.
Is he bonded? Does he need to be?
Let me ask you a question, Gerald, while you think about that. If we push out till next council meeting to verify some references, does that jeopardize anything between now and then?
No.
I'm gonna make a motion that we table this item until the April board, council meeting, at which time Mr. Brunson or Mr. Kelty will then have time to check some references with their consultant, as well as some others. Please, sir.
Okay. Well, and the other option is, I think, I didn't don't remember all of them, but I think the next one is $3,000 different, 55. I mean, you could, if you want to say that you're not comfortable with that contractor, we could go with the one that we are
That we dealt
comfortable
with too.
Well, I don't want to say that I'm not comfortable with them, but I would
Okay.
like to, $50,000 is a lot of money, and I want to make sure that we know what we're getting into.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 15.
Thanks, Gerald.
Thanks, Gerald.
Well, he's up again.
I'm here. I'm still here.
So let me read this.
Hard to
please.
get rid of me, guys, I tell you. I know you
Consider
tried.
Consider and take any necessary action on the Post Oak Savannah Groundwater Conservation District grant. Post Oak Savannah. Go ahead,
Okay.
Gerald.
The grant application is due at the end of this month. I've started putting it together. The money that they have this year set aside is 1 million instead of the 2 million, as I told you at one of the previous meetings. And I don't think we're gonna do, we've got 3 in a row that puts us up around $900,000 or something. And I don't think we're gonna be able to get another 300,000 this year. I'm recommending that we do a $200,000 request and match it with 100,000. We will try to find some money that we haven't already used as match money to keep our dollars out of pocket lower. But if you want more, I can certainly do that. And if they cut it down, or they might deny it altogether. I'm just kind of playing the odds right now. That's why we're asking for 200,000.
And what we plan to use the funding for are for 12 variable frequency drives for all of our wells and
And
at the
high pressure pumps that go to the
high pressure
towers.
pumps. It will allow us to equalize pumping throughout the city when, the high pressure plane, low pressure plane, when we're operating on one. And then in addition to that, we are going to use the rest of the money to buy hydrants, to replace some of the hydrants. Gerald's crews have been going through, doing testing on all of our hydrants. They've identified a significant number that need to have some work done to them, replaced or repaired, so money would also go for that.
Can you expand just a little? I mean, do they frown upon if you're asking for more than or what you got, or is there, like I said, is there a chance you might not get anything if you ask for too much, or?
Well, they have a score sheet that they give you points for and take off points. So if you've got it for more than 2 years in a row, they begin deducting points because you've had 2 years in a row. And so there's quite a few things in there like that.
Okay.
But you also get more points for a greater match, so that's why we
Yeah.
bumped up.
Okay.
Have you, prior to making this recommendation, have you had a discussion with Gary?
I have not talked to him specifically about the number of dollars. I can call him and talk to him about that. Again, what we're looking for now is your approval to seek, if you want me to ask for more money or talk to Gary about it, I can do that. Just approving the
You
application.
just need approval for the application.
Yes,
We
sir.
can discuss the money. That'd be my recommendation.
Yes, sir.
I would highly recommend you give Gary a phone call and have a discussion with him.
Okay.
Not that that's gonna change whatever he will decide, but will give us more information, give you more information.
Yes, sir. Okay.
If he successfully submits the application, we would get notice of award, and then it would come back to the council for approval to accept the award. Last thing we want to do is get a grant and then say, never mind. That's
I
why,
don't think,
that's why we're asking tonight.
okay, council, any action?
I'll make a motion that we authorize Mr. Brunson to engage with Post Oak Savannah Groundwater District on the possibility of applying for a grant with a determined amount to be determined.
A motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor, is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gerald. Regular agenda item number 16, consider and take any necessary action in regard to the Veterans Memorial Park swimming pool, for the summer of 2026. Tim?
So this has been causing me a great deal of stress since I got an email from the YMCA in January indicating that they were no longer going to be able to provide service to the city. They operate and manage our the pool at Veterans Park, and have for several years, I think at least 6 or 7 years. And so without that as an option, you know, I've been kind of scrambling. Now, I'm excited, there's actually 2 different providers. The first one I was talking with was Cooksey Lifeguard Swim Academy, and Premier Recreation. They're actually out of California, but they have an Austin-based office as well. And both Cooksey and the other one, Premier Recreation, well, both of those they suggested I reach out to them. I just got the proposal from Premier Recreation, which I was excited. It's actually less than what we were paying the YMCA for the same level of service. So that is my recommendation. I think the cost, they had 2 different proposals, and I'll probably go with the flat rate fee, which is 60. I think it's 63,000.
Who sets the rate?
I'm sorry?
Who sets the rate for a kid to be able to go into the pool?
The
66,000.
city council sets the rate, you mean for using the pool?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we set the rates, and we also sell punch cards that allow 25 visits, I think, or 45 visits. And those are set by council, and I think we amended those, I don't remember if we amended those rates last year or not. But it's still an affordable activity for our residents, and it is used widely. So I was, one of the things that we were considering and that I was going to suggest is if we couldn't find somebody, that we not open the pool this summer and instead use the money to work on the pool. But I didn't want to have that, and I do have a viable option. So,
Tim, I ask this every year, so we pay whoever X amount of money. Like this one here is 66,000. We also provide the chemicals too, right? And then the cards we sell, I'm sure it's not much money, but we get that revenue back, right?
yes, we do. It generates about, I think, $8,000 or $9,000 a year in entry fees.
Over and above the cost?
No.
No, for just
Okay.
the actual sales.
Okay.
Yeah. So, is there any other cost? The insurance, do we pay the insurance? Who covers it?
The pool is carried on our liability insurance. We pay utilities, electricity.
So this amount we're getting is mainly for their
We take
employees'
care.
labor and all that?
There is, from a labor standpoint, we have a licensed pool operator on staff. Now, the operator would do daily testing of the water. Actually, they test every 2 hours to make sure the chlorine and the chlorine residual, or chlorine levels are at the proper level, and I don't know what else they test for, but if they're out of balance, then they will contact the city, and our guy will go over and make the adjustments necessary. Gerald, what other costs do we pay for? We pay for the maintenance of the pool. You know, we have somebody go out there and clean the restrooms, and
So this fee basically covers their administrator and the lifeguards, right?
yeah, so they actually will provide all the lifeguards and the pool manager, and the cashier that runs the front window, and make sure that the pool is open and operational and managed properly. And their proposal actually is extremely detailed in what they, the opening and closing duties. So,
For several years, the school has had a back-to-school pizza party
yes.
thing, is that, or, I think it may have been the community churches, I can't remember who put it on.
We have a party.
Walmart participated. They donated watermelons last year, and it was yes, there was a local pizzeria that donated pizzas.
Is that inclusive
So
of,
this would be part of that. That day is included in here.
And so like, the door fees, we collect that money back from them? If somebody pays cash?
Yes, yes.
And is there a concession stand there? They still sell chips or soda waters, and who gets
I
that?
don't know. Do we have concessions out there, Gerald?
When we were a kid, we did. I don't know if they still have.
did.
They have ice cream. YMCA left a chest freezer there for us so we can use. We do need to buy a bunch of vest, life vest, and other things that they took with them. It's not going to be very expensive, but we've got to redo that. But there are going to be some additional costs that just as you'll be aware of it. Like the school deal, last year we did it on Sunday, Labor Day weekend, and Monday for 2 different grade groups. And when they're going to have that type of level of participation, I believe it's 1 lifeguard for every 20 people, that's right. And so whenever we have a deal like that, there will be additional lifeguards that will be have to brought in to.
And so, in accordance with the terms of the agreement, and this is the same way that the YMCA was, they will provide swim lessons.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Typically, they'll do those after hours, either before. The pool is open from 1 to 6. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
1 to 6 every day. So they would have swim lessons either beforehand or afterwards. The pool is still rentable. Somebody can come out and rent the pool, but they will handle that. And that revenue for them, if they
get the revenue like they rent the pool out?
yes, so if.
What about the swim lessons? Is that a fee that somebody has to pay?
They pay it directly to.
They would coordinate that directly with the provider.
YMCA every year had a phenomenal swim meet there that brought lots of people into our community to spend some money in our community. Does this group do that?
That wasn't the
as well?
YMCA.
That's a private thing, yeah.
That's
Oh, that's private?
That's
a
what
private
I was-
Wake Academy,
swim
I think is
team.
what it was called.
Wake swim team.
And I've already been in contact with
There's a
them.
ton. They fill up that whole park though.
I
with
know.
people with
It's
canoes
awesome to
and-
see 'em.
They actually have, when I talked to the woman from Wake Academy, they have a specific practice schedule, so they'll work directly with them for that.
Okay.
And then they have either 2 or 3 meets a year that they hold out there on a Saturday morning, I think between 8 and noon.
And it's packed, yeah.
Awesome. Council, any other questions?
What happened to the YMCA?
I'm sorry?
Do we know why YMCA got out?
In the email that he sent me, he said that because of liability issues, that was something that they were no longer going to be doing as a business practice. Now, I did find out that they're still doing it in Taylor, which is kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I don't know if they had an agreement, a multi-year agreement with Taylor that ties them to that this next year, but
So Taylor's pool, like last summer, was inoperable. It was all under construction. They may have one this year.
Yeah, they have a new one. Oh, they just
Yeah,
redid that.
Yeah, they just redid it, yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion on this agenda item? Entertain action?
One last thing. Is the third option was to close the pool down this summer. Is there, I mean, I know there's not an ideal time to shut the pool down, but if this is an ideal summer to do that, that's something to consider too. Because next year may be twice as busy, or we could bring in twice, if there is an ideal time to do that.
well,
when
it is, the time to do that would be between September and May, if we wanted where you didn't actually have to shut the pool down. This was a matter of, these funds are available, if we didn't have to spend it on a contract, instead of spending on the contract, let's use it for Y. But we haven't even actually identified what needs to be done out there yet, so. And the
All
other,
right, council.
So the one that you're wanting to go with is
Premier Recreation.
recreation.
I'll entertain any action on this agenda item.
I'll make a motion that we accept Mr. Kelty's recommendation to go with Premier Recreation. There's 2 different contracts here. Do I need to reference which one it is?
And the rate was 66.
With Premier Recreation for the lesser amount contract provided.
Okay. Have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Be no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. I have 7:54 PM. We are now going to convene in executive session. under sections 551071 of the Texas Government Code to, number one, consultation with our attorney about potential litigation regarding a certificate of convenience and necessity. And number two, consultation with our attorney about potential litigation regarding Cornerstone Pit assessment. 7:54 PM, we are now adjourning out of regular session and re-adjourning in closed session. I have 9:15 PM. We are reconvening back into open session officially at 9:15 PM. Council, is there any action coming out of closed session?
None at this time.
No action, and I would like to make a statement for the record that I did recuse myself from participating in the closed session that included the D.R. Horton and developer conversations. I was not a part of that. Council, is there any other business to attend to tonight? Being none, I will officially adjourn us at 9:16 PM.